Welcome, everyone, to episode 41 of the Six Man Tag Podcast right here on Apple, Spotify, and we're back on YouTube. I know last week we didn't have a YouTube episode because me, CJ, and Hoots were just shooting shit outside on my deck, and we didn't really have the lights for a camera, nor the setup, nor whatever, and we just hit record on a microphone. So if you listened last week, you got the audio only version, but this week we're back. Our faces are back. Almost all of us are back. By the way, I'm your host, Mike. Welcome. I'd say, as always, joining me is CJ, but CJ is in Las Vegas. Well, not anymore, technically. But as of recording of this, he is, so he's not here. But joining me, again, as always, a regular, it is the man of 1,004 intros. It's Skylar Strange.
Well, God damn it, Bruce. I wasn't able to come up with an intro, so here I am just having to be Mean Gene Okerlund. God, I didn't know CJ was going to be here and just threw it off. What the fuck is going on? Are we live, pal?
We're live, pal.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, Bruce, what do you have to say to all these people who are throwing trash at you right now?
You know something, Mean Gene? All the trash in the ring represents all of our listeners. Just kidding. We love our listeners.
We love our listeners. Please subscribe.
Thanks for putting me on the spot for remembering that promo, which I did. But then I had to quickly change it.
Yes.
Because we don't hate it. We don't hate our listeners. We in fact enjoy our listeners and viewers. So I can't exactly shit on them, nor would I want to.
No, of course not.
But we're here. Last week, again, as I mentioned in our intro, we were just chatting last week. You got a couple minutes of good old Katie Vick. We went down that road last week, very briefly, but we went there.
Man, I wish I was there for that.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you need to see our friend's reaction who hadn't seen the clip, which at this point is a little over 20 years old, and it should be left. That clip is left back in 2002.
Was that 2002?
Yes,
it was, because Kane was Intercontinental title champion and they merged the titles. That's right.
Yeah, 2002. It was 20. Plus it was that Triple H like title run where he was just beating everybody.
Oh, the Reign of Terror.
Yes.
He's making amends for it now.
He is.
Yes.
I'd say so. Did he make amends? Because I feel like that was really like.
Okay,
I feel
maybe
like
NXT.
Okay, yeah, it's been. I feel like the Reign of Terror was it because I wouldn't classify like any other time that he was champ as that, because people love to say all he did was bury people and this and that, but that really only ever happened in 0203. I wouldn't
or anytime he faced Chris Jericho.
Okay, fine. You're right. I can't say like 05 or I guess 04 into 05 because he put over Batista.
Mm-hmm.
He put over John Cena a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't really say. I think the burying accusations, I think they stemmed from that Reign of Terror early on, but I don't think it ever really happened again.
No, later on, like for example, he definitely played a big role in Jeff Hardy becoming a main eventer.
Mm-hmm.
For example,
and
I remember they had like 3 pay-per-view matches in a row.
I feel like I remember Jeff Hardy being like champ and on top because that was like 09, 2010 ish, right?
No, it was 2000. I want to say 2008, actually.
Was it before? Really? No kidding. I thought it was way before that. When did he? Because he came. I remember when he came back. I was, you know what? And I was it was the Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam, and I can't remember the year, but I was in it. I was at the show because it was in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and I remember it was something with Edge. I can't remember exactly what the deal was, but I remember like, oh shit, Jeff Hardy back, blah blah blah. Look at that. But that was 07 maybe.
No, okay, no, I think you're right. He won his first world title Armageddon 2008.
Wow. Okay.
So 2009 was his last year that go around.
When did him and Punk have their feud? Because it was
2009.
so, and it was for the title. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, Triple H kind of, yeah, like I think all that burial stuff, I think followed him, and it probably unfairly did based on that one title reign.
Yeah.
But after that, I don't really, sure, there's a little bits here and there, but I don't really think he was that. He wasn't really crazy about like burying, I think, later on. And then you just move so far forward that you're getting into like the authority years where
I was going to say that.
So, in which we all like, I mean, the guy put over everybody at that point.
Seth Rollins, Roman,
Daniel
not
Bryan.
a very good, not Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns and Triple H wasn't that great of a main event, but
No, it wasn't.
But then
It
again,
did, it did its job.
It did its job. Although here the problem was they accidentally got Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose.
Right. We know.
At the time.
Right.
Because I remember that was the Royal Rumble that Roman had to enter. That was the Royal Rumble that Roman had to enter from number 1, and the match was for the championship. And he was second to last eliminated, and the last two were Dean Ambrose and Triple H.
There was like a weird network pay-per-view, one of the first ones, and it was Triple H and Dean Ambrose. Was Dean Ambrose the champ?
Roadblock. No, that was Triple H, and a lot of people were like hoping
and he didn't beat him.
No,
because that was before.
There was a false finish.
Because it was before. Finish. Was this before Mania?
It was right before Mania.
Okay, and then Roman. Okay,
it was called Roadblock, I think.
I remember this now. I don't know why I remember it specifically, but yeah, I remember that. I remember he was super over too, and I think people were like, maybe he should, because we were getting into that. Oh, Roman's force fed. We don't want this, so I think let's get the other Shield guy to win instead. We don't care.
Right. And I think also part of it was people were hoping Dean Ambrose would just win the title there. And then the main event for Mania would have been Ambrose and Reigns, which nowadays, if you do Reigns and Moxley, you have an instant sellout.
Agreed.
Because God knows Jon Moxley is basically the ace of AEW.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, literally shit's been going down nonstop in AEW, and what's been the one constant if all else fails, like in case of emergency, break glass. Okay. Yep. It's just the title in an emergency glass so they can break it and hand it to Jon Moxley.
Yep.
Because that's basically what's happened twice now.
Other than that brief rehab stint, he's
been
consistent. And you know what?
And it's not to say
for that.
Right. And it's not to say he's like undeserving or anything like that, but it's just it's been like when they're like, we need it. We need you. Here you go.
Exactly. And I will say this, I kind of want more Jon Moxley in New Japan.
I just think the travel's so tough that I wonder if he's reluctant to continue to go over there for more than like once in a while. And with New Japan doing more stuff over here, I feel like it's in his best interest to be like, no, I got a kid. I'm gonna not travel to Japan. But I know what you mean.
I could see him doing like Wrestle Kingdom.
No, right. Well,
he does New Japan Strong shows, but yeah, to your point, they're stateside.
That's what I mean. But I think that's to New Japan's advantage, is that you don't have now having a US setup. You don't have to have these US based guys constantly touring Japan. Granted, I know the crowds are different in Japan. That's more the audience that a lot of those guys are used to. But see, and I'm not like super familiar with it. Like I don't watch New Japan a lot. Are the stateside shows, do they have mostly US based wrestlers, or do they send Japan guys over here?
They'll send Japan guys over, but it was basically like as a showcase for, well, technically not Gaijin because they're over here, but it's predominantly a showcase for some of their American talent. Like their current world champion, or not world champion, but the New Japan Strong champion is Fred Rosser, who you may know better as. Hold on.
I mean, I know what you're talking about, but do your bit.
Hold on. I had to think about this for a second.
Wait, do you not know?
No, the name's just for Darren Young, right?
Okay, I thought you were going in.
I knew it. It was the name that I was
I
trying to
thought you were
remember.
going into like a whole bit because you were like, you might know him as, and I was like, well, I was just like, all right, I'll sit back and wait for this.
Yeah. No, I knew it. It's just the name
Mm,
escaped my head, but
okay.
it's just weird. It's like, oh yeah,
Is
he's
strong? Is strong like its own, like almost like a brand extension? Like they have their own champion?
yes. There's
Oh,
and
interesting.
there's strong tag team titles too.
Interesting. See, I didn't know that. I just
Yeah.
figured it. I just figured it. I just thought it was like, oh, we're doing some shows in the U.S. and that's that. I didn't realize it was like a whole thing.
It's almost like their NXT UK.
Smart. It's smart.
Yeah, it is smart.
Well, because
Especially
again, it's like, you figure it obviously started during the pandemic, and you figure we have these US based guys. Let's use them. Let's set up a show here. Let's not make them travel over there. More restrictions, more travel stuff. Obviously, I'm sure I don't know what vaccination statuses have to do with traveling to Japan anymore,
well,
but
in Japan they were wearing masks already.
right, exactly. So, but I mean, listen, it's smart. Set it up here, guys. Guys will be more open. You'll showcase them more. Guys will get showcased more, not having to travel a however many hour flight over to Japan just to wrestle. For not that it's bad to do. I mean, guys obviously have done it for decades, but
By the way, two things. One, first, I just want to address the audience. If you folks at home haven't can't tell, this episode is a stream of consciousness. So
oh yeah,
enjoy.
we have no topic. We just said, hey, let's just chat tonight because that's what last week's episode was about, and we enjoyed it. So we figure let's just do it again.
Yeah,
And we're kind of spitballing
only
here.
with me this time.
Yeah, yeah.
And the second thing is I mean, I do see some guys going over there for at least. I don't know if you're going to see guys go over there for like the G1 again.
Mhm.
Which is kind of a bummer because I'd love to see Bryan Danielson do it,
Hmm.
for example. But I think you're going to see a decent amount of like AEW guys at Wrestle Kingdom. Like
No, it makes sense. I mean,
like
if they did Forbidden Door, it would make sense to have a bunch of guys on Wrestle Kingdom to just
like
kind of.
I can see Jericho on again this year. I think when Shibata showed up, which holy shit, apparently the two people he wants to face were Orange Cassidy,
Mhm.
and on the opposite end of that spectrum, Bryan Danielson, which that match makes total sense.
Yeah.
Very similar styles.
But
Like
Bryan Danielson
Shibata's,
against anybody, you're like, okay.
yeah, well, yes, but Shibata, it's like, yeah, this match makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Shibata is very much like he's known as the wrestler. He is like hard
Understandable.
hitting. He will like he probably wants to face Bryan Danielson because he wants to die in the ring.
Fair.
Because both
That's fair.
both guys are all about like just knocking your lights out.
This is fair.
Yes. So I am very much looking forward to that match and wondering who will survive.
Maybe no one will.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who else I could see like showing up for Wrestle Kingdom. Like Moxley having a match would be neat. I don't know if that's going to happen. I said Chris Jericho. I'm trying to think of who else because all the other people have like they're already in New Japan, like Will Ospreay.
Mhm.
The main event has already been for months. Jay White and Okada.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Which,
Oh, that's true. Yeah, they're like 6 weeks away, give or take. So yeah, they gotta get this card ready.
January 4th.
Is it 2 days?
No, I think this year they went back to one.
Okay. Okay.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, me too. It's smart. Just
Not
keep
that
it
not that
simple.
the 2-night thing isn't bad. I just feel like if it's one card, it forces you to like amp up the quality.
No, I agree.
But on the other hand, having two matches allows you to, like, say, for example, WrestleMania this year. It still allows you to have space for Sami Zayn versus
Johnny Knoxville.
Johnny Knoxville. Yeah.
Do they have, well, I'm not going to say do they have the talent for 2 days?
Yeah.
But I'm sure they do. But
well, because not only like, you know, they have the
to
talent
sell tickets to sell out the Tokyo Dome for 2 days.
I think they didn't have much of an issue. Last year was 3 nights.
Oh, good Lord.
But night three was a collaboration show with not Dragon Gate.
Someone.
one of those, one of the bigger promotions out of
gotcha.
Japan.
I gotcha. I mean, it's January 4th. So I don't know, man. I'm always a fan of like, I don't hate Mania being 2 nights, especially with how this past year's played out. But I think for someone, I mean, like me, that's not a big New Japan viewer, if I want to check out one show, it's probably more than enough.
So here's what I like about Mania being 2 nights, as especially now that we entered the Triple H era, the booking era, not the Reign of Terror.
Yes, big difference.
Like, for example, now you have 2 Royal Rumbles, a men and a women's.
Right.
You have the women's main event the first night and the men the second night, like they did with what was it, Sasha and Bianca was one night, and then the next night was that Triple H, Edge, and Daniel Bryan? Or not Triple H, Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Roman Reigns.
Yes.
So, yeah. So you have that, for example. Another example would be, I heard rumblings that Money in the Bank might be scrapped as a pay-per-view and go back to being a WrestleMania thing.
See, I don't mind that it's his own. By the way, can we bring this? Let's bring this up. I know this is going to air like a week after the fact, since you said Money in the Bank. So they get the briefcase off of Austin Theory by having him attempt to cash in on Seth Rollins, the U.S. champ, and fail to do so. So where does that? I'll say, where does that leave Austin Theory? I guess is this now. Before you answer, I'll ask you a couple things. Is this like a spite thing from Triple H being like, oh, you were Vince's guy, so I'm just going to bury you? Or do you truly think like Austin Theory just doesn't have it, and this is probably the route he should have gone to get it off of him? Well, I'm so torn with it, because I feel like Austin Theory can be the guy, not yet.
Yes.
But I feel like, is this like a spite / petty thing?
No. By all accounts, they still think he has a future. I think my guess was, okay, so 2 things. The first one is, my guess is Triple H got saddled with him as being Mr. Money in the Bank in a no-win situation, because it's like, he's going to cash in against Roman. Really?
No.
The only thing I saw potentially happening is, let's say Cody Rhodes is the one that finally dethrones Roman.
Right.
Then Austin Theory comes out and takes it from Cody and fucks that whole thing up.
Right. Because you get multiple people over one night. Austin Theory still had till next summer. I feel like they could have sat on it for a little bit, or they could have had him defend it, or because that wouldn't be the first time they've done that. Have someone defend it.
It's actually funny. I read a report earlier today. I don't know the validity of it, but it also kind of makes sense. So, as you know, Raw has not had his own champion for some time.
You don't say.
Yes. So what I heard might have been the plan and I, again, don't know the validity of it, but it makes sense, was at Clash at the Castle, as you saw Theory come out with try to cash in. Obviously, Tyson Fury put a stop to that. But from what I heard is you probably still would have had Tyson Fury involved, but he would have successfully handed the briefcase in, turned into a triple threat match. Drew McIntyre pins Theory, and then they basically say the technicality is Austin Theory was trying to cash in just for the WWE Championship.
See, I feel like that's even overcomplicating it if you want to do it. It
is overcomplicated, but
like,
it kind of makes sense.
Listen, I feel like the simple way to do it, and I know Roman's been showing up on some Raws, but they should tell him, hey, starting now, you need to defend both titles separately. And then Roman goes, no, I don't think I will. And then he just hands whatever the Raw title is, WWE title over, and that's that. And go from there.
Yeah, okay. I can see that
and then he can go, nah, I'm enjoying my time off. I'm the Universal Champ. I'm still the Universal Champ. Y'all can have this. And then he just kind of walks off, still the champ for however many days.
Right.
800? Did we hit 800?
Oh, we've hit it. We basically hit 800. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets to 1,000.
He should.
Honestly, at this point, just go for it. Especially.
By the way, I'm jumping ahead now, but as far as like the title reign goes, I obviously want to discuss Roman Reigns, Logan Paul a little bit, which of course at the time we're airing this, it was 2 weeks ago, but that match alone, I think, had people's brains exploding of, man, the bloodline's boring, but oh fuck, Logan Paul. The people that don't like either, I just think their heads were exploding
Yes.
where they were like, oh no, what do oh
What do
no,
I do? What do I
what do I do? Mommy, help me.
do? It's funny too because clearly Logan Paul has it.
Yes. My God,
But
yes. Like, and this is where a lot of I'll just say like wrestling fans, and I think probably a lot of wrestlers might go like, who's this guy who's doing that? And it's like, first of all, Saudis probably asked for this, if
would
we can
not
say
doubt.
one.
I think I've heard he's actually popular over there.
He's popular all over the world. Like, you can't like say what you want about any of them, any I'll just say any social media, whether you're talking about guy like someone like a Mr. Beast or like a David Dobrik or any of those guys who like they just got popular from YouTube and social media, and people are like, well, who the hell are these guys? Why are they famous? It doesn't matter because they have a following and they can do whatever they want.
Yep.
Logan Paul falls into that. And
Jake
like,
Paul too.
exactly right. And whether you
And
like it or
I would not be shocked if Jake Paul
no, I think it's
work.
at some point he will.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't doubt that he has it just as much as Logan Paul if he puts in effort, if he puts in any amount of effort.
Yeah.
But like these guys, but like people don't understand that like these guys draw money more than like your indie darling that you think's an amazing wrestler that should be world champion. It's just the reality. I think maybe me 10 years ago might have had the same like head exploding reaction of this, like, who is this guy think he is challenging for that? But like I'm past that because, and not for nothing, I was so intrigued with this match. Like, I usually don't watch the like whatever. Say what you want about the crown jewel stuff. Like we don't have to get into it with all the Saudi Arabia stuff.
Blood money in the
exactly, exactly. But
oil rumble.
How many analogies did people come up with? But when they announced this match, I was like, fuck, man, it's gonna be good. Like we know, like we've seen Logan Paul twice, and he's killed it both times. So yeah,
actually, no, 3 times.
Did he have 3? Well,
he tagged with Miz, he faced Miz, and then this match.
Okay. Oh yeah, this was match number 3. Yeah. But dude, they and to get to the match, like I didn't watch anything else from this pay-per-view. I watched it like Sunday night after the Sunday Night Football game at like midnight. I just fast forwarded. I did watch the Bray Wyatt promo stuff because I had to see what they were doing with that, and then all I watched was the Roman Logan Paul match, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Logan Paul's got it. Excellent. And listen. So you have Logan Paul with the combination of his social media following and being pretty fucking good. I mean,
see, that's the thing. You have these big names that are coming in that there's like, why are they getting the spot? Except now, unlike, maybe a decade ago, these guys and gals are actually fucking good. Yeah. Pat McAfee is excellent. Bad Bunny, holy shit. Didn't see that coming.
And for someone like, and granted it's promotion because you're on a TV show, but like Bad Bunny did the majority of this work in the fucking Thunderdome. It wasn't even like he did it in a lot. I know he wrestled like at Mania. And did they bring him in for the Rumble this past year? Right?
Yeah, he was a surprise entrant.
Okay, right. So he at least did get to work in front of like a sold out crowd. Yep. But it's beside the point. Like someone like Bad Bunny did this in the Thunderdome with no audience, really not getting a feel for how a wrestling match is supposed to play out, and he still did awesome.
He did, and he looked perfectly fine in the Royal Rumble.
And it's like, because I see people like, oh, who does Logan Paul think he is? And it's like, well, he's got a big following, and he's gonna draw a lot of people to your product. And oh yeah, he's also fucking good.
Also, I don't know if you saw, but Crown Jewel did fucking gangbusters as far as money goes.
Oh, I'm sure it did.
Like it outdid the Clash at the Castle.
As far as like attendance
buys, you name it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Clash at the Castle was pretty fucking good.
That was a great show.
Yeah.
And from what I've watched of Crown Jewel, it was a solid show.
I'm sure it was. It was one of those where I'm like, I knew I have to watch this one match. I don't have the time to watch a 3.5 hour show right now, so I'll watch the one thing that I want to watch. But I do want to go back and watch some of the stuff like Brock and Bobby Lashley and other stuff like that. I'll have to get to it later, but I knew I at least wanted to watch it.
I actually didn't watch that match. Supposedly, like the finish was like botched to hell or something.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but afterwards, like kind of Bobby Lashley was the one left standing afterwards. Brock Lesnar won, but
interesting.
Yeah, but Bobby Lashley proceeded to basically put him in the hurt lock until he passed out.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
I'm
that
sure. Well, I mean,
match
they're not done.
No, they're not done, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, when they had their Royal Rumble match, I was like, I'm watching this show. I've been wanting to see this match for a while.
Yeah, no. So they'll go again at some point in the future. We're creeping into Royal Rumble season. Like I said, we just said Wrestle Kingdom 6 weeks away. Royal Rumble's 2 months away, and then we'll be kicking back into Mania season, which is always exciting. When it's really when not you're watching every week, but it's when you want to watch every week,
right,
or something like that. But
I'm wondering if they still do Elimination Chamber as like the lead-in, the penultimate show to Mania.
I feel like I've read they were doing away with that.
They're trying to do away with most of the gimmick matches. Hell in a Cell's done.
That was it. See, I got my two gimmicks confused.
Yeah.
No, and we've discussed it on a prior podcast before about these gimmick pay-per-views, about how you're locking yourself into Hell in a Cell only being at this one show.
Right.
So you're not getting a Hell in a Cell. Like if you're looking at it now, you're like, all right, well, we're not getting a Hell in a Cell probably for like 7 months or whatever the time frame is.
They would occasionally throw one in, like Seth Rollins and Edge had one at one of the Saudi shows.
But we know why they did.
Right.
But otherwise, there probably wouldn't have been one. But I like it. I like it to not be predictable. Like I don't want there to only be a TLC match in December or an Elimination Chamber match in February or Hell in a Cell in June or whatever it is.
And I got to be honest, for a while I was associating ladder matches more with like SummerSlam for whatever reason.
I mean,
TLC, the original TLC match, I should say.
That's true.
Ray and Eddie. Bray and yep. Wait, who and Eddie?
Ray and Eddie.
I feel like Edge and Eddie.
Maybe.
It was a match that just involved a ladder, I think.
I do just think there are ladder matches just kind of all the time. So I think
Jeff Hardy and CM Punk, their last match. Well, their second to last match was
that was SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm. That was a great match. Yeah. So I don't know. I was just for a long time associated like TLC and all that with SummerSlam.
But if we are moving on from the set gimmick pay-per-views, then I'm happy because like they don't even have to like. I feel like they have like good pay-per-view names that they don't necessarily use anymore, whether it's like No Way Out or Armageddon. Right.
Not WrestleMania Backlash. Just fucking Backlash.
Just fucking Backlash. No Mercy.
No Mercy. We got a fucking fantastic game out of that too.
Which, by the way, I found. So all this time, I thought in my collection I had WrestleMania 2000 and not No Mercy, and it's the other way around, and I'm thrilled about it.
Awesome.
When I was digging through my games, and I found because I saw the black cartridge, I'm like, oh, this is Mania 2000. What?
No, what?
Like what? It's the more expensive one. This is great.
Fuck yeah.
Like, all right, cool. If I want No Mercy, I don't have to go on eBay and spend however much on it, $40 or minimum.
Exactly. So this is my understanding from rumor and innuendo of what pay-per-views might look at in the future. You have the Royal Rumble, you have Mania. Mania is probably going to remain 2 nights. Hell in a Cell apparently is already like done because Triple H just has a great respect for the Hell in a Cell match. So, which makes perfect sense. It should be used for like a big blow off, not just we're feuding and this pay-per-view happens to be in 4-6 weeks.
Right.
What else? King of the Ring supposed to make a comeback as a one-night event, similar to how it was like early on. What else did I hear? Apparently going forward, Survivor Series is going to be War Games.
I am here for that.
I'm perfectly fine with that. It's still Survivor Series, but it's like Survivor Series : War Games, which fine, sure. I'm guessing they do women's and the men's. I mean, that's what's happening this year, clearly.
Yeah, no, that makes the most sense. I'm very happy that it's not Because I think what I hated the most in the past was Survivor Series and or the bragging rights pay-per-view when they would do the fake Raw versus SmackDown brand loyalty shit.
Yeah, I remember
Like
that shit.
where everyone had to pretend that they cared about the show they were on as if guys didn't flip-flop.
Right.
And they'd come out with the t-shirt gimmicks and everything else, and then we had to pretend. So I'm happy that we're not doing that this year, just for starters.
Right.
If nothing else, please no more brand wars. Even if you want to bring like when they used to bring like NXT into it, like that one time they had like
NXT won that one time.
But didn't everybody get pissed because like Walter got like buried when he was on
Yes.
a Survivor Series, right?
Yes.
I'm forgetting the year, but I'm like, okay, I did remember this.
And
this
there was
right.
also, but at the same time, they almost made a star out of Keith Lee that night.
Yeah, they did.
Because it was down to Roman and Keith Lee.
Yeah. Oh man, what could have been, man? Like, I know. I mean, well, listen, he's killing it in AEW with which, by the way, I didn't expect that with the tag team to be as good. Him and
like
Swerve
the tag
Strickland.
team, but
Yeah.
I feel like Keith by himself so far in AEW has kind of been a little underwhelming.
It has been. Is he not like fully healthy though?
That's my guess.
Because I knew he had COVID real bad. Like it was bad.
Like
so
life-threatening bad.
Yes. So like I kind of
have long COVID.
That's what I mean. Like I kind of wonder if some of that's lingering. So the best way to have him right now isn't a tag team.
Yes. And hey, Strickland's amazing. So
yeah, no, and like they've been good. Like first of all, I didn't see them winning the tag titles, but actually the last pay-per-view, them and the Acclaimed, that was like the hottest match on the card, and like the card kind of dipped. We were talking about this last week actually, so I want to bring it up to you because we were talking about pacing of a show and how I kind of brought I forget, and I'd have to listen back again, but I forgot if we got like a straight answer. Again, there were substances flying around during that podcast, so I don't remember if we got a straight answer for this. But how do you feel about structuring a wrestling show? I feel like, and because we brought this up because we discussed it about music too, when you're at a concert, you need the ups and downs. It can't just be constant on for like an entire band set. Much like I feel like if you're just on and you're just like, throwing all this shit at people nonstop, there's the eventual burnout. So like, what's your feel on like structuring a wrestling show? Like, do you want nonstop? Do you need the come down? I mean, tell me what you think.
Do you remember the first run of this podcast when I put together that WrestleMania card using previous WrestleMania matches?
I'm going to say no, but tell me if you remember.
I wish I had. I thought I brought that up somewhere because,
or not the exact thing, but if you have like an idea.
No, what the concept I did for that was, and that episode's still online. I know because I listened to it not that long ago.
Mm-hmm. It's on a different feed though, but it's out there.
It's out there. We can always do something with that later. But anyway,
maybe repost it when we need. That might be an idea for when we have weeks to fill. Is post an oldie episode and see what people think.
Classic.
But go on.
Classic Krusty.
But go on.
Is there a labor crisis in America today? Anyway, so basically I put together a WrestleMania card that had certain stipulations, like you couldn't use the same person twice, couldn't have the same title twice, couldn't have the same stipulation twice.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine what a pain in the ass that was. But when I thought about it, I did try to structure it in a way that there would be some pacing. Like I think the opening match I did was Bret Hart and Owen Hart, because you might as well pick the opening WrestleMania match.
I was going to say, is there a better opener?
Probably not. No. I can't.
Triple H, Daniel Bryan. If you have to pick something.
No, I would put that second, third, maybe. That was a fantastic opening match. Yes.
But I'm saying if it's not close, but if you have to pick like something in second, that's the first one that comes to mind for me.
Most likely. Because I'm trying to remember some other ones. Like I remember for a while the Intercontinental title opened the show a lot.
Yeah.
Then there was a long time where the Intercontinental title wasn't defended at all for years.
Also true.
That was a weird thing. But yeah. I remember structuring it like trying to start her hot, getting some soft spots, like before the main event. I think the main event I chose was Rock and Austin. It was Rock and Austin at Mania X7
Mhm.
because to me that is one of the best Mania main events that was only tainted
Fantastic.
by that heel turn.
Right.
Like
Agreed.
it was almost perfect outside of that. But like before that, I listed the main event of WrestleMania 1 as like a cool down match almost. And also your celebrity match, because at that time when we were recording,
Right.
celebrity matches weren't exactly the common thing those days, or they weren't good.
Agreed.
Anyway, this whole rambling I'm going on about this is yes, I think pacing of a card is very important. That or you have less matches. So, like, I think recently they've been kind of doing this 6-match, 7-match card thing.
Mhm.
And most of these shows recently, there's been at worst one match that might be like,
Yeah. I think my big thing though has been with like AEW where they try and cram so
they
much
are
into the
trying to cram
card
too
and
much,
like
way too much.
and I've noticed like when you watch their pay-per-views, when you get to the main event, I think the crowd is burned out.
Mhm.
I think you as the viewer is burned out. And it's too much.
I mean, you're basically at the equivalent of attending a Dynamite slash
Right.
Rampage.
And I've had my
You've
gripes
done
with I've had my gripes with going to even those and you're burned out by the end because they're trying to cram so much. And if you're at a specific venue, like the first Arthur Ashe, they were like obviously they weren't making it known, but they were clearly on a strict like building curfew. Like, no, you gotta shut this down by I'll say midnight, just I'm forgetting now. So like they did Dynamite and then they did a 2-hour Rampage. I think they did the same thing this year, but I can't remember. But so like they're taping it and it was just like rapid fire, no break. Like
right.
obviously you don't see it on TV, but the match would end and like you would see like the referee and like the agents in the ring, like pretty much like, okay, come on, get out. We gotta, get out of here, go to the back. We gotta clear the ring. We gotta get ready for the next, the next segment.
I mean,
And it's just like
unfortunately,
you're just
that's what
running
happened.
through. And it's like the main event of that first one was, oh my God. So it was Moxley and Kingston. Why am I blanking on the opponents? Lance Archer, Minoru Suzuki.
Oh yeah,
I'm,
okay. Yeah,
I was trying.
Suzuki Gun.
Thank you. I was trying to think of their tag team name, and it wasn't coming to me.
Well, Suzuki Gun is Suzuki's basically his faction in New Japan. Like
Okay.
you have
Okay.
the 4 main ones: Chaos, Suzuki Gun, Bullet Club, and the other one.
Okay. I gotcha.
Wow, why can't I remember that? Then you have the splitter groups, like you have Aussie Open with Osprey and his tag
Oh
team,
yeah.
or no, United Empire, yeah, United Empire, like Jeff Cobb's in there, Great
Mm,
Khan,
right. But I remember that like
TJP.
yeah. Oh God. But I remember that was the main event, and the crowd just wasn't into it. And it's because we just sat through 5 hours of wrestling nonstop and there's no time for the crowd to like relax or come down to get excited again. You're burned out.
So
It's just the reality, and I think it affects the quality of everything.
yeah, I remember. I want to say sometime within the last 2-3 months there was, they ended a taping with Rampage with Ricky Starks versus Powerhouse Hobbs,
Mm-hmm.
and now both those guys, Hobbs, he'll be big one day. Starks, I think he's gonna be a fucking star.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think, but people were apparently leaving during that match.
No, but it's because
They're
people are
burnt
burned out.
out.
I'll say this. So I went to one. So actually, I remember I went 2 weeks in a row. I went to because they had Arthur Ashe Stadium that I went to, and then the week before they had the Prudential Center in Newark, which I had those tickets because it was supposed to be that was supposed to be the first Blood and Guts, and then COVID happened,
Mm-hmm.
so that show literally got postponed for a year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and finally they had the date,
Was your
and
ticket good?
yeah,
Nice.
right. So it's like I bought these tickets, February of 2020. Like they're still fine.
I had
But I remember,
multiple concerts where the same thing happened. So
yeah, right. But I remember the last match they put on because it was the Rampage main event. It was Miro against Fuego del Sol. That was the main event for the crowd because it was the main event of that Rampage. Now, I want to say the opener of that Rampage was, I might be getting it wrong, but let's just say it was FTR against Lucha Bros.
Wouldn't you end with that?
But this is my point: is AEW? I feel like they're taping everything in order. It's like, listen, like you guys know you can edit this.
Right.
If you want this match to open the show, who cares? Just tape it last so it's the main event for the crowd, and then just put the fucking match on first. It's not difficult. Like Rampage, a tape show, you can do whatever you want. Especially that, like it wasn't like you didn't have like storylines that were going on. You didn't have like I can't remember anything significant to where if you flipped the order of taping segments, it would have like fucked everything up.
Right.
For that show. I know, and honestly, my thing, like they should tape Rampage first before Dynamite, and Dynamite should be the main show you watch. But the problem is they put too many segments on Dynamite that are advertising Rampage.
Right.
So you almost, it's a very weird thing that AEW hasn't figured out. Like I say all this to say that the pacing sucks. And a lot of times I think if shows don't come across with strong crowds on TV, there's a big fucking reason for it. And it's because crowds are burned out by the time they tape certain shows.
Well, it doesn't help when you fucking sign everyone.
This is true.
So, but I think honestly Triple H has figured out the pay-per-view because I've noticed, first off, most of the recent shows have been on Saturday. Thank you.
Oh, and listen, and
Godsend.
if they can have, and as much as like I know like we shit on like the Crown Jewel, like the Saudi stuff, those shows start at noon. Not mad about it. Same with Clash
at all.
Same with Clash at the Castle.
Like Clash at the Castle wrapped up around 4:00. I was like, awesome. I still have the rest of the day. But yeah, I think this whole Saturday thing, you get 6 or 7 just solid matches done in about 2 hours, 45 minutes, 3 hours, no problem. I think it's the way to formula. And
also, if you had a show in America and you started the show like for the live crowd at like maybe not 1 p.m. but 4 p.m., like would you still like people would still go?
100%. Why not? You go to football games in the middle of the day.
This is true.
You go to baseball games in the middle of the day.
This is true. Something to think about, Hunter.
Yeah. And not to mention, before Mania went on for about 3 days straight, not like 3 separate nights. It was just, it would start one day and then the final match would be done about 3 days later. It came out to, well, it was more like 2 months. I don't know. It felt like fucking forever.
No, that one Mania, the one before the
first, like, or not San Francisco.
It was MetLife.
Oh, MetLife. Okay.
The last one they did before COVID, the Ronda Rousey main event thing, right? Was it Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch and Charlotte?
I'm pretty sure that was that was the match. I'm pretty sure that was the last one before COVID.
It was because I remember just we like. It's not even in the crowd. We were just like watching it at, I think we were at a bunch of us were at like Anthony's house. So we were just like, the show needs to fucking end, man. Like we've been sitting here for like 7 hours. It's too much. And I think they've learned, but I think again, I
remember the one at Levi Stadium. Like the first match went on at like 2-3 o'clock. I think it was Adrian Neville and Austin Aries.
Oh wow! What a match!
It should be.
Yeah.
But it just felt like it was like
Austin Aries, control your narrative champion, perhaps, because he's the only one left.
Is that still a thing?
I don't think it's still a thing, but I feel like everyone that was like a part of that promotion is not there anymore, such as Killer Cross and Braun Strowman. And I don't know.
Pissing off enough people that who knows?
Yeah, but I feel like he went, "Hey guys, take a joke." Which, if you aren't aware, him and Omos had the match at Crown Jewel, which again I didn't watch because I only watched the main event. And then it was clearly joking. It clearly didn't go over well, but he did the whole like, "Who cares about those flippy floppy wrestlers?" or whatever he said. But I don't know, man.
So Adam Scherr is a fucking funny guy. I'll say that. Sometimes it's just his delivery of his message kind of
a miss.
He needs a little work on that.
Agreed. But I don't know,
It's
man.
like I follow his shit on like Instagram. Like he says flat out, I'm a redneck who does redneck things, and you know what? God bless him for it. But
you know who's a good follow on Instagram or whatever social media? Baron Corbin. Because because the majority of his posts are about like bourbon or
thanks.
like or like say it's a great follow.
Yeah,
because
I
he knows what he's doing with all that stuff, and it's like you can actually like go get tips on certain stuff because he knows what he's doing. So like guys like this is why guys like that make for perfect social media, because you're not so much like shit posting about wrestling. You're just like, no man, this is kind of my life, and I'm not. He's not overdoing it, and he's literally just posting like his own shit.
See, what's funny is for as much as I hate Baron Corbin as a wrestler,
Mhm.
I'd probably get along with him so well in real life.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like I mentioned the stakes thing because I follow Matt Heafy from Trivium,
Right?
Who's friends with Baron Corbin. He's just like, yeah, Baron Corbin just came over and brought over these friggin' 64-ounce fucking porterhouses.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, okay, I'm hungry now. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like, great.
I want a steak that I have to question if I'm gonna make it to the end of it. I want a steak that's gonna make me like that eating competition in The Simpsons where the guy is just sitting there dead. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do know what you're talking about, which, by the way, I'm sorry to bring this up, which, by the way, I love broke out the high noons, even though it's fall. It's not summertime anymore. I just caught this half a balloon sitting in the background of my Zoom window. Exactly. This is my life, if anyone needed to know.
Yeah.
I hope it stays there.
I've been there. Still kind of there.
Let's just bring it this way.
Let's just see what happens. For the visual listeners out there. Anyway, what the hell were we talking about? Baron Corbin, Instagram.
We were talking about just Instagram
flippy shit.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, not that 205 Live is a thing anymore.
I remember the jokes about
the title.
I don't know why I like researched this, but when 205 Live did main events and one of them was the Civic Center, and they threw on Matt Hardy versus Bray Wyatt as like a special attraction to try and sell tickets,
right?
Which is hysterical to me.
Yes. Although at the when that
welcome to 205 Live. Here's Bray Wyatt.
Yes. Speaking of Bray Wyatt, what the hell do you think is going on? I'm here for it, but what the fuck is it?
Well, I mean, I feel like we've discussed this before, which again, in a later episode, we're going to get to our deep dive of Bray Wyatt, part 2, where we cover all the Fiend stuff. But, so maybe we're jumping ahead of this, but we'll get to that soon when we have all of us back. But I think it's a slow burn. That's all it is. It's a very slow burn, but Bray Wyatt's creative enough that I honestly think he could stick around for like 6 months without wrestling a match. And I don't think people would get sick of it.
Honestly, at this rate, I feel like if you said he's not going to wrestle till the Rumble or Mania, I wouldn't be that shocked.
It's fine, but that's why I say 6 months, but obviously you'll see something before that.
My question is who's his first feud? Is it Uncle Howdy?
Is it Barry Windham? Just dust him off. Come on back.
I forgot Barry Windham was still alive.
Oh, he is, and he's clearly a family member.
Well, yeah,
but
that or he's just substituting for somebody that.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, so they've done
innuendos out there. You guys can look it up.
Yeah, I mean they've done like the Uncle Howdy or whatever promos with like that weird creepy mask in the videos. Isn't that just Bray Wyatt doing like another personality, or is that somebody? Because obviously you mentioned the rumor and innuendo, and I say Barry Windham because it's been rumored that it's literally him under the mask. But is it just Bray?
It's definitely based off Barry Windham, obviously.
Yes.
But
yes.
I don't know. Some people say it is, and I'm trying to like look at it. I'm like, is it? I can't tell.
I know. I feel like it could just be like Bray doing all this shit on his own and being like, all right, let's just add layers to this over the next couple months and see what happens. I don't know. like I said, there's a million rumors out there. There's still, are they still doing the QR code thing?
Oh yeah, the one popped
Right?
up. And actually, during was it there was recently a tag match. I want to say it was a 6-woman tag match.
Mm-hmm.
But during their entrance, like Alexa was coming out, but it was like Bianca's Titantron and all that stuff. But for a half a second, that white moth showed up on the during the intro,
Interesting. See,
like
I'm
on the Titantron.
like, and I'm loving the subtle shit because the majority of time that I would watch wrestling, especially if it's like a Monday Night Raw, it's just kind of on while I'm doing something else. But this shit is making you watch for every detail, whether it's like the shit from a couple months ago with like the car, like the car crash in the parking lot that was going on in the background of a promo, or like whatever other weird shit was going on, or like all the QR codes where like Bray Wyatt was coming back, but they didn't have to mention his name one time.
Nope.
Again, we mentioned it. Still a big fan of playing the music during the commercial breaks, and the Jefferson Jefferson Airplane. Why am I fucking those two bands up? They're playing White Rabbit.
I think they were still Airplane when for
Jefferson
White Rabbit.
Airplane.
Yeah,
It was, but then because I said they're playing the acapella version in the commercial break, you don't have to pay any royalties, no bullshit. Gets the people talking on social media, people filming entire videos of it. Brilliant. All the subtle shit that's going on Raw, just all of it has been shit like that actually makes you look at it and go, did I miss something? Nikki Cross is back, by the way. I had to mention that because I had to mention her in a trance tossing the 24/7 title into missing the trash can. Will you? I'm sure that'll be on the next Botchamania.
Although she tried to cover it up in a tweet, but whatever. I mean,
it is what it is. Are we done with that title now, you think?
Yes, it's on the retired section of the website.
Oh, look at that.
God.
All right.
Dana Brooks pissed about it, but whatever. Because she was finally relevant.
Listen, if I do watch Raw, it's, as I've said many times, it's the Hulu 90-minute version. Highly recommend.
Highly recommend.
It gets to the point.
I think they just renewed their deal too.
Honestly, thank you. If they didn't, then I would hope that that whatever they would come up with would be just like Raw being on Peacock the next day. Because if you want to watch it, this is my problem with AEW. It doesn't stream anywhere. I use my VPN and I pay like the $5 for AEW Plus on Fight TV just because it's the cheapest option I have without pirating it. But I do it because I do want to watch the shows like legitimately, and that's the cheapest way for me to do it because my if Fubo TV stops fucking around and gets the Turner networks back, so that way people can watch basketball and college basketball and wrestling and hockey. Just do it, guys. But
just fucking do it.
But for now, that's the boat I'm in. I don't have those Turner channels, so that's what I do. But if they would just like stream somewhere, like I don't know if they had it on like HBO Max or if they had some kind of deal with
that was the rumor, right?
Right. And I hope it goes down that road eventually, because again, if you can't watch Dynamite or Rampage, like if you don't have a service, like if you don't have cable, okay, you can at least watch Raw the next day on Hulu if you have Hulu.
Right.
Or again, if that deal didn't happen and maybe Raw is on Peacock the next day or something, then great. But AEW, if you can't watch on cable, if you don't have it, you're kind of screwed. You have to go out of your way to find it.
I mean, I have basic cable. I don't even think I get those channels. And honestly, I only have basic cable because it made my internet cheaper, which I still don't understand that fucking logic.
If you can listen, Verizon Fios, if you can get it.
Can't. Not here.
Damn it! I know.
If I move somewhere where it is, you bet your ass I'm getting that.
No, I pay $50. Well, I pay 75 because the in-laws insist on keeping the home phone. But it's 50. It's 50 for the cheapest internet package, and it's more than enough.
I mean, I did move up to megabit for Optimum, and so far it's been pretty good.
I did that with Optimum. Maybe we had too many devices for their shit, which is silly because Optimum should be able to handle it.
Right.
But
I mean, I'm gonna say my router is.
No, here's my we're just gonna rant about internet connections now. So we upgraded the Optimum service, but they're so limited with the routers you can use and the modems you can use. I'll say the modem. It's the modem, not the router with Optimum. Because
they're combined now.
okay. Well, the Altice router,
Yes.
sorry, the Altice modem is dog shit.
Yes, that's.
And it could be because everybody in this house has a ton of devices, whether it be like, you know, if I just include myself, it's phone, iPad, computer, Amazon Fire Stick, PlayStation 5, Xbox, like lists all the devices, and that's just me, not mention everybody else. It's probably too much to handle, but Optimum doesn't let you, more or less, doesn't let you buy your own router. None of them are compatible, and they don't offer any alternatives except the Altice one, which is dog shit.
Right.
And constant drops. Probably times we were recording this podcast where my internet would drop out, I would drop out, and then I would have to wait for a reconnection to come back. And as soon as we switched to
that was happening to me for a little bit there
yeah,
too.
and as soon as I switched to FiOS with the same number of devices, just the FiOS hardware, nothing. Except the one time when if you want to go back and listen to when we interviewed the Now, literally 2 minutes after we finished that interview, my internet completely went dead, and that would have been catastrophic had that happened during the interview. We would have lost it. But that's the only time I've had an internet issue. So for the people out there, I guess I like, it's a free ad, but Verizon Files, where it's at.
Yes.
But where are we at? Oh, it's midnight. Damn. I think I'm off tomorrow. You off tomorrow?
Federal holiday.
Let's fucking go.
I just got my nephew. I got my nephew in the morning, but other than that.
Yeah. Listen. Shout out to the troops.
Shout out to the troops
for protecting us and allowing this federal holiday to be a thing.
Yes.
Happy Veterans Day in advance to everyone. Although,
actually, it's
God damn it, this podcast isn't going to air on Veterans Day. It's going to air the week after Veterans Day, but we're recording it on Veterans Day. So
technically now, yes, we
technically,
as of 4 minutes ago,
technically 1 week ago. Shout out to the troops.
You know what? Shout
out to the troops always.
Yeah.
Shout out to the troops always.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Dennis. We shouted out the troops.
Yes.
The Six Man Tag Podcast are big supporters of the troops, as should you.
Also, of yours, Putin.
And forget canceled. We're dead.
Yes, we're dead.
We're dead. Thanks for tuning into the Six Man Tag Podcast. 41 episodes. Enjoy the archives because you're not going to hear from us again. Man. Yeah. So
anyway, I digress.
Ukraine's going to win that war, but I digress. In the long run.
Anyway, moving away from that. Remember, wait, who was that Russian dude that was around that feuded with Triple H and then was in tag team with Santino?
Vladimir Kozlov.
Thank you. I thought it was Kozlov.
I was waiting to say his name as soon as you said Russian. Who was that Russian?
Yes. You know what?
Have there been any other? He wasn't Russian, but let me throw this name out to you. Ludwig Borga. What country was he from? Because it wasn't Russia.
He was in Ukraine. Hold on. Now I'm curious.
Ludwig. Oh, good.
Oh wait, hold on. I spelled it wrong.
From Finland? Really? A Finnish anti-American heel. Do we ever have any conflict with Finland?
Not that I'm aware of.
That feels like this was 1993. This feels like a weird heel. Granted, when I did my deep dive rewatch of like a lot of like 93, 94, just to see how bad that time period was for a time, which it was fucking terrible. Yeah, he was like supposed to be like one of them. He was like gonna be a main eventer, and he just sucked. But I didn't realize Finland, dude. They just put anybody against a U.S. and American, and they were just a heel in the 90s.
I feel like
fucking Japan.
We addressed that not that long ago.
Yeah, we did. Fucking Yokozuna, technically supposed to be from Japan, and he was like anti-American. Pearl Harbor was 52 years prior to Yokozuna's prime. Right, 1941, 1993. Okay, my math's correct. And my history is
suspect, but
right.
Good enough. Not
Right.
to mention the fact that Yokozuna is fucking Samoan.
Okay. Disregard that. He's
Disregard that.
Japanese.
Yes. Okay.
He's
Okay.
Japanese.
Sorry.
But I love the Japan versus the US when that conflict had been over for nearly 5 decades at that point. But God damn it. Lex Luger, the Lex Express. You're
Let's go.
you're gonna slam Yokozuna on the USS Intrepid when it's 105 degrees on 4th of July. Damn it.
By the way, were you about to ask have there been any notable Russians since Kozlov? I feel like that's what I feel like.
I might have.
You were going to ask.
I think I was going to ask that, and then Ludwig Borga popped in my head, and I knew he wasn't Russian, so I had to look it up. But have there been? Am I missing somebody?
Ilya Dragunov.
Okay.
NXT. He was the one that
technically
dethroned.
Oh, that's right.
He's the one that finally dethroned Walter.
That's right. Does he still have that name? Does he still have that name, or do they make him change that like everyone else that came over from UK?
Nope, still had that name. He was just recently in a triple threat match with Braun Breaker and JD, whatever the
Jordan Devlin.
Whatever Jordan Devlin's called now.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah, but they just had a triple threat match at
Halloween. And technically Rusev for a little bit.
Rusev, yeah, he's Bulgarian, but they tried to make him basically Putin's boy.
I guess Alana's technically Russian.
Yes. Even though she really doesn't. I mean,
well, she's technically not, but for the sake of the character.
She can speak like fluent Russian, I think.
Right. But for the sake of the character.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. All right, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, they loved the foreigners. And I know we covered when they have 2 non-Americans in the crowd with chant USA. That's my favorite. Yeah. Always with the US Canada. I mean, USA Canada stuff with the Hart Foundation. There's literally never been a real life conflict, but man, fuck Canada. Like, it's wild to look back at some of that stuff and be like, man, if you're not American, get out. Like, we hate you. Like, goddamn, it's crazy.
And also, it's just funny how that feud worked. That the face heel alignment changed depending on if they were in Canada or in America.
I will say it is a shame that we won't get to see heel CM Punk in Long Island anymore, because that was definitely a thing. Well, but
we'll see what happens.
Well, this is true. It might just be for a different. They both might be in a different company when that happens.
Yes.
Which that's still like, I know they're giving MJF like this big push and stuff, but you still can't rule out that he leaves in a year and a half or whenever his contract's up.
I feel like I heard somewhere that he already signed an extension. They're just trying to keep the storyline up that 2024, the Great Bidding War 2024. I'm more an innuendo, but
I'm more curious about how he would do in WWE now with Triple H being in charge and not Vince McMahon.
He'd be a star. He'd be a star either way. I think Vince would have liked him a lot, and I think Hunter will like him a lot.
Huh. It's interesting.
He seems like a Vince character.
Right.
But he still seems like he would appeal to Hunter.
Right, exactly. But it's interesting to me how, because he wrestles a WWE style as well. Like,
very much.
For all the AEW stuff with a lot of like the flips and the crazy moves and the stuff, like, he's still one of those guys that
he's very traditional.
Yes, which is perfect for.
Yes.
And I think, didn't they say that like when Cody was finishing up, he was like, yeah, he's like not purposely wrestling like a WWE style in his matches. That's more the wrestler he is. But I think he was almost like auditioning himself in a way with some of his like matches, like maybe like leading up to the end. Although I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into bullshit.
I'm trying to think, because one of the last matches was like that ladder match with Sammy Guevara.
True, maybe not counting that, but also like most of his AEW matches, like, not to say like he would be like the cool down match, but just when you flip that style from like constant a million crazy moves, high flying moves, a million false finishes, to just let's slow it down and have a wrestling match. That's what Cody brought.
Right.
And I don't see that now. And to kind of bring it back around to when we started chatting about to this whole conversation kind of started about pacing. They don't not that they don't have those guys, but they don't have like a Cody Rhodes to just toss in the middle of the card to go, all right, slow shit down.
I mean, they probably do. They just don't.
They don't use it. They also
They
don't use
it.
Right.
I'm trying
I
to
don't
think
know.
of who that would be right now.
I know it's tough. I don't even know.
I mean, might have been Punk.
This is true. It's probably MJF now, but he's in the main event, so he's not even like you're tossing him in the middle of a card.
Yeah, Moxley's not too violent, but that's more his style.
Well, I mean, he just bleeds every match.
Well, that too,
No matter what.
Like if you finger poke of doomed John Moxley,
yeah,
ring would just be crimson.
Yeah, right. Like right there, he would just.
Yeah, exactly.
Just oh my god, what the hell?
That is literally the only gripe I have about Moxley. It's just like, dude,
is his skin that paper thin at this point? Maybe
exactly.
He's like legitimate. He's like, fuck again. No, I thought I wasn't. Seriously, guys, I wasn't trying that this time.
Although now I'm starting to wonder if he's bleeding less because his wife is like about 100 feet over.
He's right. I was gonna say good move by them, by the way, because she was always just a great interview person.
I am very shocked she didn't get go to like ESPN or something like that because
I remember I said she probably was like, well, I don't want to move to either Connecticut or LA,
right,
or travel if you're gonna like cover if you're gonna cover games on the road. She's probably like, I'm just gonna hang out and do my own thing. Especially with a kid now if she can just kind of travel once a week to shows, I'm sure she's getting paid plenty, and she had a podcast anyway, but I'm sure she's getting paid decently enough that she's probably like, hey, when my time comes, I'll make it happen. And it's here. Go figure. The AEW. I mean, it makes the most sense. She was always great at that backstage interview stuff, especially NXT.
She wasn't a bad commentator either.
No, well, I remember she didn't want to do it with you know who in her ear. Yeah. Much like I remember.
Of course, now he's gone, but
right. I remember Mick Foley was the one that didn't last, and that was the reason.
Yeah.
Back when he did SmackDown for a little bit.
They straight up wrote him off by having Edge just like destroy him.
Yeah. Right.
And Foley was a good commentator too.
I know, but he was like, I can't with the
dude. Michael Cole is now like tolerable.
And he's like, if you go search it out, he's like made references about like being free, if you will.
Yes.
Like I couldn't imagine doing that for that long. With just someone in your ear every night. You're just like, God damn.
Yeah. Just
enough, bro. Like I think I know what I'm talking about. I don't need your one-liners. Or whatever it was he would feed everybody. I don't know.
Actually, also, you know who's actually pretty damn good commentator? Wade Barrett.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad he got pushed up to the main roster. I'm sad that Nigel McGuinness is gone now, but
because he was really good on NXT, not even just UK, just NXT.
Yeah.
When it was him, was it him and Morrow?
I miss Morrow.
I know.
But obviously, there's reasons there.
Yeah.
Although part of me wonders if he would come back. Well, no, he was in NXT at the time, so he was with Triple H. But
yeah, I know. But he was on SmackDown, right?
Yeah,
for a time.
I think he eventually went to SmackDown.
Right.
What did you think of Jimmy Smith?
I thought he was good.
Yeah, apparently he kind of crapped all over it when he left. Like he was just like, I was just playing a character on a TV show. It was like, did you like have a bad exit? Is there something we should know about?
Yeah, right. I mean, I thought, well, he was.
Well, he did UFC prior, right?
Yeah. Who did they have before him?
Oh God,
it was the guy
because they rotated a lot.
No, but they had someone specific before him, and I remember him not being good, and I can't remember who it was now. But I remember like Jimmy Smith being
Corey Graves. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. No. Hold on.
Yeah, now I'd think about that actually.
Because who is it? The dude they have now is pretty good.
Yeah, they moved around so many guys.
Like the Irish guy or whatever.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
All right, this whole list doesn't help me.
They should just move Funaki over to the American team.
Indeed. Hold on.
Seriously.
If I
Hey,
scroll.
Bruce Pritchard is still there, as far as I know.
This is true.
I'm surprised, honestly.
Oh, so what the fuck is his name? It's like Adnan Vark or something. I remember him not being very good.
Mike Animal.
Exactly. Oh God, Mike Adamley. Well, okay. There's
Jeff
also
Harvey.
there's also reasons for that making fun of that sad now.
Yes, very much so. Trying to remember who else. I still
that dude I just mentioned was there for 6 weeks, and then Jimmy Smith took over. By the way, so that's how unmemorable it was.
Yes, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I like her, but god damn it, I could not stand Beth Phoenix on commentary.
Wasn't my favorite.
She's always sounded like everything was just this urgent all the time.
Yeah, I agree.
I like Beth Phoenix, but commentator, no.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Listen, you can't win them all.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, hell, one of my favorite commentators ever is CM Punk. He was excellent
with the blazer.
Mm-hmm. Can I wear the blazer? You can wear the blazer. I'm in.
Yeah, right.
Man, that was a weird episode of Raw.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god.
When it like everyone walked out the week before or some shit like that.
Shit like that always happens now. Or back in the day it did.
Well, that was towards the beginning of Triple H becoming like an on-screen authority, like actual authority figure.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Everyone basically voted no confidence on him except for like Cena, Punk, and Sheamus. Oh, and that's when we got people power.
This is true.
Hey, Vince, do you want to pass her over to me? Oh, sorry. That's a little dark.
Okay. And with that, do you have anything else on your mind as far as wrestling goes, or anything really that you want to get out there before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, this was a good stream of consciousness.
That's how honestly. No, that's how I feel. This was, fun to just kind of not have a topic and not have, something like strict. I know we talked about a little current stuff. We talked about some past stuff, some weird past stuff.
I mean, honestly, I was originally going to just be like, oh, we don't have a topic. What do you like about what's going on right now?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And we kind of did that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think we covered a lot.
Plus, nice little gap until, CJ's back from Vegas.
Yeah, no, he'll be back. I mean, I think, again, in real life time, not podcast time, I do think they fly back tomorrow night, although there's weather.
Oh yeah,
I guess coming, so we'll see about that.
I've gotten multiple
but I am
weather.
Yeah, I am supposed to pick them. I am supposed to pick them up tomorrow. So they fly in at like 11:30 p.m. So maybe they'll miss it, or the plane will just fly through it. I don't know. I remember being stuck.
I think from what I heard, it's supposed to go through to Saturday.
They might be stuck for a day.
They might be stuck.
Ooh, that's rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we'll see. I have their flight info, so I'll see if it gets delayed.
Guys, if on the episode the week after next, CJ's not here, just presume he's dead.
Yep, fair.
Or still trapped,
or he's stuck on a plane. Maybe there are snakes on that plane.
Boy, that movie sucked. Anyway,
with that,
in the hilarious way.
And with that, but listen, hey, thank everyone for tuning in for this random chatting, which this was fun. We should do this more often.
Yeah.
Just not have a topic and bullshit about anything really. Yeah. But listen, if you need to follow
about cable,
we did because it needed. Thank you for saying what needed to be said.
Yes.
Listen, you can find this podcast on social media. You can find us on Twitter at 6ManTag. You can find us on Instagram at 6ManTag Podcast. You can find us on Apple and Spotify and YouTube, all by searching 6ManTag Podcast. If you go to our Twitter or Instagram, go to the profile, click the link tree. You can find everything you need. You can find a Discord that's been deleted that we were unaware had been deleted, but it doesn't exist anymore. But I still felt the need to say it on here. So don't chat with us on Discord, but feel free to send us comments on Twitter and Instagram. You can send us an email at sixmentechpodcast@gmail.com. If anyone ever wants to send questions, feel free. We'll answer them. We just don't get any because I never plugged the email in here, and somehow I remembered. But yeah, do all that, and remember, subscribe, like, follow, do all that stuff that you're supposed to do on social media that makes it cool. Although Twitter might be weird now because Elon Musk is fucking it up apparently.
Holy fuck, that's a whole weird. That's a whole other fucking discussion. Oh my god,
I don't know what's happening now. You have to like pay to be verified. Which
I heard something like he told the employees that bankruptcy was a real possibility. It's just like, you've been here a week.
Like, bro, everything was going like okay, and then you blew the doors off this place, and we're gonna burn to the ground now.
Also, what the fuck's Mastodon?
I don't know.
Apparently, that's where people are going to now.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. We don't have as of right now, we don't have a profile on whatever that is. I thought you were going to talk. I thought you were going to talk about like the band.
Oh, Mastodon's a solid band. Yeah.
Well, that's what that was the only point of reference I had.
Yeah. No, we'll investigate. Anyway, in the meantime, Twitter's still there as of right now.
Right. So, well, I guess I'll plug it in. I'll plug your Twitch first.
Strange AFC. I play a bunch of video games and I play guitar. Still Persona 5 Royale. I play a lot of Overwatch recently.
Overwatch 2. Not too sweet. It's just Overwatch 2.
Yes, exactly. I just realized Goat Simulator 3 comes out in a week. Yeah, the kid loves that one.
Did I miss Goat Simulator 2? Because I remember playing.
Nope, that's the joke.
Okay.
That's the joke. And I'm gonna
because I've definitely played the first one.
Yes, that is the joke, and I know
I love them for that. See if it's on Game Pass. We pre-ordering
PS5.
You can't get it on. You can't just get on Game Pass. See if it's on.
I don't know if they announced that it was going to be on Game Pass. By the way, quick side note: apparently they denied that AEW Fight Forever is going to be on Game Pass or any.
That's a shame, but I understand.
That is a big shame, but that is its own logistic. You know,
well,
do you take the money up front or do you take the risk and just see
how well it
sells?
Well, that's what I wonder, because like I obviously understand why Microsoft IP would be on Game Pass day one.
Right.
That makes sense, but I don't understand how deals are made with really any other title without, I imagine, as Microsoft going, do you want this money to be on our service day one? Because you're not going to get game sales, but people are going to play it.
Do you want the lump sum up front? Or
clearly AEW's probably got the audience that will pay the $70, $60, $70. What was the price point? Was it 60? Even PS5?
As far as I know, 60.
Whatever, 60, 70, whatever. We're splitting hairs a little bit.
By the time this episode airs, it might have gone up to 85.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, they got to have their holy fuck edition with their DLC, because that's every game ever.
Oh no, that one's 130.
Oh my God.
I don't think that actually is the case.
Yeah, no.
But clearly you wouldn't think I'm wrong.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I guess
FTR edition, because they couldn't have them in there from the beginning for some fucking reason.
Well, they'll have DLC. It's just a shame that they're not in the game day one.
I still want to know if they had to delay the game because they had to do something with the guy that's front.
I think they're gonna sell a lot if he's on the cover. I don't think they'll take him off.
That also brings me into speculation about his future with the company, but I feel like that's going to be another episode or a YouTube.
No, we'll touch on it, especially when like the game itself gets closer, or if the cover art ever changes. They could change the cover art. I can't imagine they printed anything yet, did they?
Well, I mean, the official cover has been.
No, I get, but no, I get that, but they could just change that, can't they? Like I imagine
Probably. I mean,
like for physical copies, I can't imagine like the actual like insert has been printed and now they're like, well, fuck it, we already printed these, we got to put it out.
so before we wrap up for real, one, the digital storefronts still have him front and center, and
Right.
the other thing that would be kind of funny is which do you remember which WWE 2K game had the story mode that was like Cena and Punk?
I don't remember which one. I remember which one Punk was on the cover of because I had bought it recently, but I
Do you
don't
know what I'm
remember
talking
which
about
game.
though?
A little. Was it in WWE 13?
I don't know. No, it couldn't have been 13 because
Was it later?
the funny thing is the game came out and kept the mode after he was gone.
Oh, so it probably was like 2K4, whatever the first 2K was.
And he even made like a wisecrack about it, like on Twitter. It's like, oh yeah, I'm still getting these royalties.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's probably like whatever the first 2K one was. I'll have to look it up.
So imagine now this happens with Fight Forever. Just like, damn, you know how to con your way into video games, man.
I was gonna say get that bag, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
As all the kids say.
Yep.
Anyway, but to wrap it up, I want to plug the Paperweight Project. That's a project that of course CJ does. I'm plugging it only because we might have promised a certain song in this podcast last week. I don't know if you want to be technical. Yeah, right. I don't know if we delivered on that.
We did.
No, we might not have. But for this one, I have the audio that I can edit in. And without further ado, and first of all, if you want to follow the Paperweight Project, that's of course CJ's project. A lot of stuff. It's on SoundCloud.
Show me the audio files.
It's not. God damn it! Thank you for that. It's on. I believe it's on Facebook. I believe it's on Instagram, and I believe it's on SoundCloud. The Paperweight Project. So you can follow it. Get, without further ado, a cover of your favorite Cody Rhodes theme song, "Kingdom" by Downstate. You can hear that at the conclusion of this podcast.
Also, I play some guitars on it.
You do. It is a collaboration Paperweight Project and six-man tag podcast, mainly because it's CJ who does both, and it's Skylar who makes a special appearance. I had nothing to do with the production of this song. I just
also shout out to last week's special guest, Mr. Hooten.
Yes, Hoots. Hoots was a blast.
Yes, and he's also is on this track.
He is. Yes, he is, which we did mention it. And again, we might have promised it in that podcast last week, but again, we did not deliver on it. But this one, it's going to, right at the end of this, it's going to play, seriously. But again, so again, listen, don't, if you made it this far, thank you. But, listen for Kingdom, the cover of Kingdom after this podcast when we wrap it up, which is going to be right now. Yep. Because we've droned on long enough for you guys. For Skylar. What?
Nope. I was just gonna say, let's sprinkle some crack on this episode and get out of here.
Thank you. For Skylar, I'm Mike. Until next time. Hey, thank you. Bye-bye.